right, so you're looking to put an offer out there again for Boost Mobile. What is it and why now?
Well, why now? Because the merger agreement that they had between T-Mobile and Sprint has not been renewed. They had an opportunity to renew it. So we think that it's game on now for everybody. And we've looked at the merger and the divestiture of Boost, and we've looked at the numbers. And if you just take other MVNOs that are out there in the marketplace, Dish is substantially underpaying for the value of Boost. And what we're willing to do today is say we are willing to pay more for Boost. We're also willing to make commitments that the Dish has not made and the FCC and DJ haven't required, which is maintaining employees, maintaining dealers, and maintaining lower prices to continue to grow those. If you look at the multiples that are being paid right now on Boost, we see it's somewhere between 3 and 4 times EBITDA, which is way below market value. We think there's $300 to $400 million, if not as high as $500 million being left on the table. So we think that Sprint has an obligation to its shareholders to maximize the value of these assets. And we think that our offer is real, and they know that it's real, that we're willing to substantially increase the offer that Dish has offered today. We're also willing to make commitments which we think will help appease the AGs, which is a lot of their concerns related to jobs, dealers, and lower prices. So we think we're ready, we're the best for it, and we're ready to make that commitment, and we're ready to sit down with Sprint and have that discussion today and give them material more. And I think that that's something that they really should be looking at right now, considering that T-Mobile and Sprint have not announced the extension of the merger.
Peter, how much are you offering for the Boost Mobile
assets? So we look at it today. We actually think that the business should be valued somewhere between 5 and 6 times EBITDA. So we think that there's probably $300 or $400 million more on the table that Sprint's leaving behind or T-Mobile's leaving behind. So we're willing to pay fair value. Just looking at the comps, I've spent the last 2 years traveling the world looking at MVNOs with private equity funds, and we think that the 3 to 4 times EBITDA multiple that Dish is paying is way below market value.
Peter, how do you make an MVNO successful in this 5G transition that we're getting ready to go into while maintaining those costs like employees that you talked about?
Well, I don't think that 5G actually has any bearing on the consumers in the prepaid market in the next 3 to 4 years. Why? Because the networks
won't be built. 3 to 4?
Yeah, well, the networks aren't going to be built, and then the handsets are going to be so expensive. I mean, we're talking about a low-income market that's jumping around from an iPhone 7 today. They haven't even got up to the latest iPhone, so it's going to have very little impact. The capacity that they talk about, the increased capacity that they're talking about, is just not going to be there for the prepaid consumer. So the best way to make an MVNO work, and the best way to make it work and continue to keep growing that business, is to focus on your customers, is to focus on the value play, is to keep your costs low. Now, if you've got an MVNO and on one side of your business you have to spend $10 billion building a 5G network, and on the other side you're trying to run a low-cost business, the two don't come together. And that's why Dish, in my opinion, isn't the best owner of this business, because they're going to need a whole new group of subs in order to cover that $10 billion network that they're building. The prepaid low-income customers and their margins on an MVNO are not going to cut it.
Peter, have you had conversations with Sprint, T-Mobile, and Dish for that matter about all of this?
So I tried 2016 to have a conversation with Sprint. We got close going down the pipe of buying Boost back. And in the past 3 or 4 weeks, I have had discussions with Dish. And I'm trying to push them and push everybody else to say, let's get real here. In theory, the divestiture of Boost makes sense, but the reality is to Dish, it doesn't make sense. It practically does not work, and we're going to see that, and the consumers are going to pay the price for that. I think the state AGs have an opportunity to fix this, get it right, and allow the consumers to win, allow the employees to win, and the dealers.
Peter, you were talking about listening to the customer in the prepaid market, how 5G is going to affect the high end doesn't so much matter for Boost's customer. What do you think the customer is saying now in that market and is likely to be saying over the next couple of years that's different from what might be considered another type of mainstream customer?
Well, I mean, look, I don't think that at the end of the day, we keep coming back to 5G and we keep coming back to the benefits of 5G. I haven't heard one CEO of one wireless company give me what the killer app is. What is going to drive every consumer, low-income, high-income, medium-income consumers, to race out and buy 5G? And they keep talking about speeds. Well, that's just an evolution. That's not a revolution. So I'm still yet to see how that's going to work. And the other thing is pricing. I mean, the CapEx, the amount of money they're pouring into these 5G networks, you can't keep prices the same or lower. That's why it's disingenuous for us even to believe that T-Mobile is going to keep those prices low. And now that the guy who sold it all to us has jumped ship, I mean, it's ironic that the two guys who sold us the merger, John Ledger and Marcelo Clerc, have both left. They both left the business, and they both told us that there would be job accretive, yet they've both lost their jobs. So I think at the end of the day, we've really got to look at this, take a step back and say, what are we really doing here? And are we really benefiting the customers? We have a real offer with real money and real conditions.
Peter, to that point, I mean, consumers are going to get bombarded over the next 12 months on marketing, citing the benefits of 5G. What is your advice to them? Not to buy a new phone for the next 3 to 4 years?
My advice is wait until 5G is up and running. Wait until it's out there. Wait until there's more handsets in the marketplace. Wait until the costs have come down. Because your overall experience between your 4G, or the 5G as AT&T calls it, and your 5G experience in the next 3 years is going to be zero. So why pay more?